I'm going to attempt to put together the Mainstay fire pit. I've taken out all the parts and assembled them close to me so that I could work on them. The instructions are inside of your packet, and the assembly process starts on page 8. So the first thing you do is put the knob onto the door, and you'll find the knob inside this little packet. So I've already taken my knob out and it was here. And it's on panel 12 that you'll put that in. So as you can see, the little screw there, I've already screwed it in. And so it looks like that. This is pretty sturdy, so you gotta be careful. When you're laying it out, it does advise that you put it together on soft surfaces, so like carpet or something like that. The next part is to put the door handle on. And so your door handle is going to be 10. I've laid out all of my sticks, or legs, or handles, or whatever you call them. Sticks. Handle. What is it? So they're all laid out and they are all numbered, and it's calling for you to get number 10. So I have my number 10 right here. And you can distinguish 10 from the others because it has the knob at the top. I'm sorry. Number 10. Well, it doesn't distinguish the difference. Let's see. I'm going to run with it. Let's see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to put 10 onto door 12. So give me a second. Be right back. Alright, I am back, and I got the door attached. And it's going to have some gaps in between the spaces, right? And that's to allow, I guess, the gases or whatever to get out once you start burning it. So I just took 2 screws that are in the bag, and it calls for B. I've already opened them, and I did a horrible job of opening the bag, but B is the ones at the bottom. So you're just going to take 2 of these screws. You're going to take the door and face it away from the finished side. We'll call it the finished side. You'll face it away from there, and then you will put the screws in the top and one in the bottom. And then the door should be able to swing a little bit. Alright, so you'll set that off to the side. And step 2 is for us to assemble it to the main part, the main component. And if you look in your book, there are a diagram. There's a diagram that gives you all the pieces and components. So first and foremost, make sure you've taken out all your pieces and that you have everything that you need. Alright, so we're going to move on to part 2, and we're going to assemble all 4 of the legs to the main base. So my main part is here. So give me a second to get it out of the plastic and get it laid flat, and we will start on that. Alright, so I left the tape on it so that it doesn't flop around and move while I'm trying to work on it. So you're just going to lay it down on the ellie. And as you lay it flat, alright, the directions say for you, let me get your book out, to attach the legs 10, 13 with the 8-piece A screws. And so you're going to just go back to your packet, and the A screws are the little ones, are the short ones. So you're going to need 2 per leg. So you can just take out a good handful and put 2 on each end. So that they will be there for you when you're ready to get to them. Alright, and again, the directions say to attach legs 9, 10, and 13. So I'd already had them laid out here, and you'll find the numbers at the tops of the legs. And so we're just going to take a leg and attach it. If you notice that the knob should be at the top, so your knobs are going to be at the top here, and then you're just going to sit the leg in the corner like so, and then you're just going to screw those in. Okay, so give me a second to screw my legs in, and I'll be right back. Let me make a correction. I saw that wrong. The legs don't go here, they go here. So they go into the holes inside of the table. Sorry, so make that correction. Put your legs on the inside of the tables. And it's already marked off with 2 screws, and they look kind of gold. So you'll see those. Alright, sorry, so let me screw those legs in, and I'll be back. Alright, still working on my legs, but I wanted to show you this part can become very tedious. Especially if you have long nails like mine. It can be very frustrating with the screws, but what I will say is the screws are magnetic, and thus they are sticking to my screwdriver, and it makes it so much easier to get them inside of there and then screw them in. What I found to be most effective is to get one screwed in fairly tight. It does say not to tighten everything up until you've gotten it all the way assembled. But once you get it in there, you just get your one good one. Oops, tightened up. I'm trying to do this and record at the same time. That's what I call multitasking. But anyway, okay, you got one in, you got it tightened. And now you can go ahead and do the other one. So I've gotten 3 in thus far. But I just wanted to show you that once you get at least one in and get it semi in a good place of tighten, then you can move on to the next one. And it'll stay, you know, still enough for you to do the other screw. So these are in there pretty good. So now I will finish up my screwing my legs in. And I'll be back. Okay guys, I'm back and I've got the legs on, as you can see. This part that's underneath the, I guess the hearth, it's very, very difficult. So if you have long nails like I do, you might want to get some assistance with that. But as the assembly says, all you need is one Phillips head screwdriver. And so this is one that I found at Walmart for like 75 cents, no lie. And it was very effective. So I just got, like I said, that first screw in and had the legs stable enough to get the second screw. And once I did the second screw, it all worked out. So let me tell you a couple things that you might miss in your design. And I'm starting to notice as I'm going through this. So I think I'm going to have to do some shifting. So it looks like there might be a method to the madness of the legs. I'm not really for sure. But in this diagram, if you can see, I have the major component here. I have it on the wrong side. And I think that the clasp belongs to the door. So I think I'm going to have to rework my legs real quick. Because it looks like from the diagram, and it's the fine details that can throw your whole doggone project off. So as I try to spin this around to get it to look like the diagram here. Alright, so in the diagram, the major component is on this side. I don't know if you guys can tell, but as you can see, the whole table there. So it looks like the door should be on this leg, right? Is that what you guys see? And then the other doors are just the way they are. So that should be leg 10. Let's see, 10, 9, and 9, and 13. So I got that right. So this should be 10, 9, and 9. So let's see where that is. 10, 9, and 9. Just spin it around so I can see. Yeah, 10, 9, and 9. Okay, so I did make a boo-boo. Alright, so here's what you don't do. You don't do it and guess. And there's that. Alright, so now I have to rework that. Good grief. I sure wish somebody had did this video before I did. Alright, so I gotta go back and rework. So I'm going to change my legs, the doors. I'm going to switch this leg up to this space. And then everything else will be okay. So let me switch the doors. Oh, and yeah, I guess I see it now because there's a gas knob. And so the gas knob is here. Alright. So let me switch that. And I'll be back. Alright, got the legs switched around. And as you see, the door clasps to, I guess, the little magnetic part. So we're ready to move on. Moving on to the next step. So we've done 2. Now 3 says attach the side panels. And we're going to use side panels 8 and 11. And we're going to use the A screws. So there is 8. And then 11 and the other panel is over there. I guess it would be 12. I don't know. Let's see. 8, 11, and that's all we do first. So let's do that part first. So we're going to get our panel. And from the looks of this, it looks like the major component part. I'm going to assume it's still facing us. Can't really make this part out. That's when it gets really hard for me to understand what the diagram is doing. Okay, so I'm just going to guess that I'm right, that it's still facing me, and that should be panel 11 that goes in front of the knob. I don't see any special markings to help me indicate anything different. So, like, you know how sometimes you're putting things together and oh, well, there is a special marking, so that's right. So panel 11 will go where the knob is, I'm assuming here. So we're going to, I think we're going to, let me look real good here. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so we're going to take the knob off. And then we're going to put panel 11 in front of the knob. So let me take the knob off. Okay, it just pulls off. And then you're going to put your panel over the knob like so. Alright, and I'm going to hold it up there. And I see I have 2 screws in place to put there and there. And then I have 2 screws to put there and there. And then we'll screw the knob back on. So this is at the wall that is adjacent to the knob, if you can see that. Alright, so let me screw these in and I'll be back. Here's what we have so far. I've spun it around a little, but I've gotten my screws in. And remember that they don't want you to tighten up everything until you have everything in place, and then you go back and tighten. As you can see, that you'll kind of be able to know that you're getting it right is because their writings will be upside down on your labels. And that's so when you turn the table upside down, it'll be right. So when you see that, you'll know you're headed in the right direction. So I've gotten everything kind of tightened. Well, not tightened, but you know, secure. And then your door is there. Everything still wobbles, so I still got it all kind of loose. And now I will go on and do the other 2 panels. Again, the directions say for you to, I guess, work it facing you. Now, oh, one thing I want to say about this knob, I'm trying to turn it around. This knob just pulls off, and then you'll see that it's grooved so that you can slide it back on in the right space, in the right way, okay? And then you're going to be able to push it in because that's how you're going to ignite it. For those of you that have used gas before, you're familiar with the push and turn to get a spark going. So that's what you're going to see there. So thus far, we're coming along. And we're going to move on to finish our panels. We are still on step 3. Alright, so if the panel is facing us, if the knob or the hearth or the major component, whatever I've used, terminology I've used during this video, is facing you, then the side panel should be number 8s. And you should have 2 number 8s left. So there's my first number 8. And then over here is my other number 8. So there are no special markings that indicate one panel is going to do something different than the other. Like that one had a hole. So we're just going to screw these in with the outside facing. Alright, so let's get that part done. Alright, we are on to step 4. So we've got our doors up and everything is still loose. I didn't tighten anything up, just enough for it to be still so I can finish working it. And so we're moving on to step 4. And now we need a D wing nut to the base. We need to attach the base, and we need to, let's see, tighten up all the screws. So I think we're on the last leg of this thing. Alright, so this part is the base, and I'm assuming it's the part that holds the bottom of the propane tank. You will note that it has little holes in each corner, and you will note that there are holes in each corner for you to screw it in. So that just kind of slides into place. Might have to put a little oomph to it to get it into place. And I can't do it with one hand. So I will lay that up there for demonstration purposes. And then it says that you're going to use B screws to screw it in. Okay? So your B screws, going back to your packet, you should have at least 4, I'm assuming. Yep, you got 4 left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so you're going to take all your other pieces and put them back in your tray. You're not ready for them just yet. I always keep all my extra parts off to the side, and I try to keep the directions close to the parts and the tools so that every time I need it, I can just reach for it. And so we're going to take our screws and we're going to put them, into this way, and then we're going to screw that in. So let's get that part done. So we're going to just put our screw in here. The good thing about it is it's all magnetic again, guys. So then you're just going to push that into place and screw that in. Alright, so our directions did indicate that we only needed to put on 3 doors at first. So we did our doors, and then we got this part on. And as you can see, we just screwed it into place in all 4 corners. So it looks like that. Alright, so we got all that done, and it looks like we're at the home stretch. We only have a few screws left, so we have what's here. Oh, and see it says extra pieces, so just in case you messed up and lost a screw, they sent you some extra ones. And then we just have a washer. I don't know what that is. It looks like just a washer. I don't know. That might not be anything. I haven't found a place for it. It doesn't show. And so this is what we have left. All right, so we're still working. And we are on step 4. Oh, it says we need that wing nut. In the middle here. So 16. You need your wing nut, which was that. So we're going to take this and put it in the middle of the ring. So there is a hole here for it. Uh-oh, and now that makes me think, gee whiz, did I put that in the right place? I hope I did. Let's see. I don't know. We're going to see. So anyway, there's a little hole. And you're just going to screw that into place. Look. All right. Alright, so while I screw that in, I'll push pause and I'll be back. Okay guys, we're on the last leg of it all. I got bad news. We had to turn this around because this screw had to be on the front of the container. So if you did put it in and the screw was facing that way at first, then flip it over. So you have to take it back out and flip it over. So that this wing nut is on the front side with the knob. Alright, and you're almost done. So now all you have to do is put in your final panel and flip it over and tighten everything else up. So let's do that part. And it required me to stand up, so I had to get up a little and kind of work it. But okay, put your back panel on now. You should have 2 screws, and if you've lost one and they've fallen in the cracks, I'm assuming that they will fall out when you turn it over, but just be mindful that you do have the extra 4 over here. So if you've lost screws and you're frustrated at this point, I'm sorry that I made a few snafus along the way, but I thought some video would be better than no video because I struggled my way through it. But hopefully this will make somebody's day easier to put this together. Alright, so I got everything tightened up and, put together. I think it came out really well. I think it came out really good. So all you should have done now, and this is your inside. Okay. Got everything put together. There's really nothing else to do to this part. You just should have tightened up the screws that you put into it. And now you'll just buy you 1 tank of propane. I mean, you can get that at your local store. Walmart, Kroger's, at Home Depot, Lowe's. They all sell the small propane tanks that will run this table. So yeah, that is my day. So overall, without the mistakes and glitches, you could get this done legit in like 20 minutes. So there's your inside of it. And then your rocks would have been in this bag. And I'm not going to put my rocks in today because I ordered some rocks that I really liked. But your rocks are in this bag, and you'll just put them in there. And then you'll attach your tank, and then you'll be good to go. And you can just kind of clean up any mess with it, just a damp cloth. And so you should be on step 5. Turning it upside right, putting your rocks in, and then you can put your top back on it.